Yeah, we're all set up. Say no more. Alright, cool. Let me just. How do I want to do this? I'll play some music, but it's gonna have to go through my earphones still. Um, I'll big up the music scene in it, bro. Slap on some UK rap beats and just all vibe in it. Which other side's working? Only one of these work, by the way. Have to check which one works.
JJ,
Yeah,
what you telling me, fam?
nice. This is more important. Alright. Right now I'm looking at USD JPY. Yeah, go through that fast. I'm still getting set up, bro. Still getting set up. Nice. Stuff it both in my ears. Mm. So like with any asset, we always start with a higher time frame analysis. Fuck is this? Don't matter no more. Let me just delete that. I had it locked. And I want to make this video basic, right? I'm gonna be chatting to you, man, about structure and where I start and how to build consistency. So what's the first step? The previous day high and low. It's important for you to track that. In your trading, this will be the foundation you build upon for it. So when I go into the lower time frames, I'm really paying attention to the narrative of what's going on. What is narrative? Well, the rules for narrative is you want to be paying attention to your pullbacks. What's a pullback? A pullback is a closure against the previous candle. What do we see? We see that here. So once you see a pullback initiated, you want to start paying attention to the pullbacks that follow. Right now, we only see one. We see the initial break on a 4-hour time frame, and then we see one pullback and the liquidation of it. As you move on to the lower time frames, you'll understand what I mean about narrative. But now, when we're talking about structure and understanding which highs and lows are valid or not, this is the rule. The rule is, we already know where we are on the daily, right? The high, in this case, responsible for closing out of a pullback, that's valid. Now, is this a valid high? No. but it is a valid pullback into where. So let's get a little bit more history, because this is where we really need to get some context, right? So pay attention to this. This is a reversal. So all these pullbacks that you guys are seeing is all with the intention of moving back into the previous range. Some doesn't, but that is the target. So when we're looking on the lower time frame and we're trying to understand the direction of price. Okay, cool. Our perspective starts at our perspective starts when we track our pullbacks, which is a closure against the previous candle. Once we got that, we need to start now tracking the pullbacks. Now, I want you guys to understand that we usually get 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6 pullbacks and then we reverse. So when you guys see a new trend with only one pullback, yes, we have the initial break, but 1, 2, we only saw the liquidation of one and we have yet to see the liquidation of the second. It lets you know that the trend in the lower time frame is new, and now we can start looking for higher prices in this case. That's why tracking pullbacks is, I call it narrative. It's the same as counting your swings.
JJ, what you telling me, fam? JJ.
I want to pay attention to that later on. We'll see what that looks like on the lower time frame. So we got that closure. Let me remove these drawings. The fuck? There we go. But that would have been easier, but no. So when we close out, we close against the pullback out of a range, you know, what we get is a trending environment, and we don't trade trending environments. We wait for a ranging environment. What's a ranging environment for us? It's a closure against the previous down candle in this market condition, leaving a high that failed to actually put in a new high. So this is like an insignificant piece of structure that's, call it like an itch that's just left unsatisfied in the market, and you know, it usually targets this, you know, after it makes lower prices and usually see a spike, you know. But in general, when I'm on a 15-minute now, that's for my daily bias. I'm paying attention to the same thing I pay attention to on a daily, right? That previous candle, where are we, right? And then I zoom in. We also got a failure to make another high over here. I'm paying attention to this right here. Why? Because this is my setup, by the way, and I know I may be moving a bit too fast, but I'm getting better at explaining and trying to be concise of what I do. So I'm seeing multiple rejections from here, and there's an unmitigated zone above it on the 1 minute. So if I'm gonna put my money anywhere in the market, then it's gonna be at them levels there. But that's all I give a fuck about JPY now. Let me go. I'm finna go on the Nasdaq, bro. Let me just see.
JJ, what you telling me?
Was it uninverted this whole time? No, it wasn't. Good. Alright, cool.
JJ, what you telling me, fam?
Because I was looking at the Nasdaq like this morning, and I'll show you guys that this is just the same process, bro. But let me try to do it without talking. Because sometimes I think I just long the explanation so many times. So look, daily target. I'm paying attention to the previous day. I'm paying attention to the previous candle, the range that we're trading between. And once I look deeper into the detail of this range, I'm seeing that we had a pullback that we closed against. We know that when we close against the pullback, it validates a high, creating a previous range or a swing for us to move back into. Now, there are particular details within this swing that allow you to scout some profitable moves, but I'm not here to chat about all of that. I'm here to bring your attention to how to track valid highs, lows, and pullbacks. And the most important one is the pullback. Why? Because that sets your narrative. See, look, we see the initial flip. We see 1, 2, 3, the liquidation of the third, and we have yet to see the liquidation of the fourth. Arriving where? Oh. I'm paying attention to this fractal here and seeing what fruit we can bear around these areas. Why? Because what I'm seeing here is, and I know it's a particular pattern for the market to violate this and move back into that range it created. Now, you guys gotta also understand, this setup that I'm talking to you guys about weakens the zone support in the price. So I know when you're back testing this, you'll see, oh, maybe I don't have to wait for the liquidation. I can just get that little wick. But what I want you guys to understand is that it's your job to use unmitigated zones. Yeah? Cool. Now, let me just see things in a different way. Oh, it was inverted as well. LOL. Cool. Yeah, I constantly switch back from inverted to inverted just so I got like an objective perspective, because my initial natural bias is long. I know how to analyze a long like that, but when it comes to shorting, you know, my mind plays tricks on me for some reason. So that's why I invert my chart a lot, just to gain an objective perspective. Did I explain this? Yeah, I mean the circles there. Cool. So everything I say, the rules that I say applies just, you know, on like vice versa type time. So we're just scraping the top of the zone, but we don't want to pay attention to this because I only pay attention to zones after something has happened. I don't really pay attention to zones that are just there. If a zone like this is just here, more time I'm just looking for it to be liquidated. But the only times I'm looking to actually use a zone is when a particular pattern like this happens. So that should, help some of you guys learning DTFX as to what zones to use versus, what zones not to use. I'm looking at the 15-minute now. So the daily 4-hour, 1 hour, more time, a higher time frame analysis. And then when it comes to the 15-minute, I do the same shit. I pay attention to the previous candle on the 15-minute. That sets my perspective onto what the market is doing now and how can I trade within the narrative that I'm seeing on a higher time frame. How can I scout that lower time frame? And I can only do that once I've done my higher time frame analysis. I can't just jump into the market and be like, yeah, I'm finna do that and I'm finna do this without even having like a higher time frame overhead. Yeah? Cool. I want you guys to pay attention. Back out. I see at least 2 rejections from this particular zone here. And an unmitigated area below it that's last down candle. Now, I know if I want to catch a scalp, the probabilities of it holding are not high. But the probabilities of me closing a 1-to-1 are high. So when it comes to managing a position like this, how am I going to manage my expectations? Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to enter in a position here believing that we're going to take new highs. Because I understand that all the market does is liquidate and reject. Liquidate and reject. Liquidate and reject. Now, few occasions, it will reverse. But I'm not looking to take part in that reversal. This is the 5-minute, so I'm sure there's like a particular area in the 1 minute that we can use. So yes, we see the initial pullback occur, and the first pullback, the initial reversal, the pullback, that's what I meant. We see the initial initiation of a pullback, and then we see the first pullback. And that first pullback left this last down candle here unmitigated. So I'll keep my eye out for that. And in the event price just, then we're not using that zone, are we? Oh, okay, on a 1 minute, we're looking at that closure there. So I'm at least seeing up to that high. So if that's the case, yeah, then we've got multiple rejections here all over the place. So when it comes to risk, I prefer to risk my money after the liquidation of these areas. I don't know what the fuck that is. And if we're just looking at the 1 minute right now. Okay, cool. If we're just looking at the 1 minute right now. So I tell you guys to pay attention to pullbacks, right? When we count the amount of pullbacks the market has been creating after the initial, that liquidation of the previous candle, right? That's when I start counting my pullbacks. Oh, I shouldn't be counting.
JJ, what you telling me, fam?
How many do we see? I see 1, 2, 3, 4. And just following the rules, we know that the market is likely to reverse after the liquidation of the fourth. I don't know what the fuck this is. Probably the 15-minute. Yeah. Cool. So I know if I'm going to engage in any type of position in the market, I first need to know where I am. That's what tracking your pullbacks allows you to do. And forget everything about, what's going on to the left. When you're keeping up with what's actually going on now in the market, when you're actually keeping up with it, you're actually tracking your pullbacks. And that in itself will save you from so many losses. Just applying that rule of, yo, I have to see 4 pullbacks liquidated before I can begin to manage my risk. And even when those 4 pullbacks are liquidated, it's not over. It's not over. So if you're thinking to take any entries from this zone, then you haven't backtested enough. If you see this kind of movement after the narrative has been set and still think to yourself, man, I wish I could have entered in this move. You know what? I'm going to wait for the 50% or something, and I'm going to take a 1-to-1. Or those overachievers, the people that can't manage their expectations, they want to, target a zone or even target a high. You haven't backtested enough, my friend. So you guys see me mark out these zones that we've been rejecting multiple times, and this allows me to just set my pace, which makes sense, because that's your setup. That's what your setup is supposed to do. You're supposed to wait for your setup. But you see, if you're not waiting, if you study DTFX and you're not waiting for something that's been mitigated multiple times to be liquidated, then more time, bro, you're FOMOing. You're FOMOing, my bro. Using these concepts. Like, yes, you can be profitable doing other stuff, and I have been profitable without using, this setup that I'm about to teach you. But the reason why I implement this now in my plan is because I realize it does so much more than give you profit. This shit built me, bro. Just the whole concept of rejecting from a zone multiple times. It taught me how to trade on the extreme side of things. It taught me not to get all caught up in the detail. It taught me not to get all caught up into what's happening right now. It taught me how to pay attention to narrative, because usually by the time we liquidate them, zones that have been, we've been rejecting from multiple times, you will already see, your 1, 2, 3, 4, the reversal, the liquidation of that reversal, and you're looking for the S&D responsible to get, and then you're entering that. You already see all of that take place. But it feels like I may be chatting too much, you know? Yeah, because there's really nothing for me to chat on now. Man's just waiting. Because we got a failure on 5 minutes. Wow. So we're just inside ranging. What does that look like on a 15? It looks like a closure. So we're inside this previous range, pulling back inside of it, liquidated the high, but ultimately we created a weak low, a low that's failed to put in another high, which this would have been a valid low in the event that we closed above, but we didn't. So it's like, what was all of this work for? It was for nothing. So if you backtest, you understand that when we get this kind of market condition, it's best for us to wait for that low to be taken out and then look for opportunities below it. Let's move on to another pair, but the Nasdaq is what I predominantly trade, so it's just ain't shit for me to look at over there. The US 30 is pretty similar. Let's see what the US 500 do. We got that. We got that. I'm looking to the 4 hour. I see a pullback, and then I want to see sign there. But we also see, you know, a pullback and the liquidation of that pullback, creating a new low, a valid low right here that put in a new high, right? Going on 1 hour, you can see the previous range much clearer. But I want you guys to pay less attention to the unmitigated zones here. Like, I say that for a reason, bro. You'll be much better off directing your attention to what have we been doing in the zone and setting your sights just for the liquidation of zones, bro. But hey, that's just me. That's just my mentality, you know. Well, before we go and read that price in a deeper perspective, I'd like to show you that we've had that closure, right? We had that closure against the previous up candle, and now we see 1, 2, 3. We see the liquidation of 2 pullbacks, and we are within our 3rd pullback right here. So let's see what will go on in it. So on a lower time frame, we see the previous bullish candle there. We see a closure, and now when we count, we got 1, 2, 3, and we're seeing the 4th pullback. And we know for our rules, we want to see the liquidation of that 4th before we even manage our risk. Now, we got that. We already know that's up for grabs. Man, I'm gonna try to wait for something like that, but let's move on now. Now this makes more sense. In fact, this is the kind of, what the fuck was that? Oh man, the background on my laptop screen. Oh, what the fuck? So not only do we have the same narrative we had on Nasdaq, which we failed to put in another high, so it creates a weak low, but Look what we have been doing here. So whenever I see this type of characteristic, it's always my plan to just, you know what, let me just see that sweat. I'm sure there's something, below it, unmitigated, that I can capitalize from and manage from to, move into that. But that seems a long way away. But regardless, that is my setup. So let me actually. Now look. That is my only expectation. Am I saying it's gonna? Nope. In fact, I know that in the event that we close below here, it creates a previous range for us to trade back inside. A lot of people are trying to catch continuations down, but your profitability is actually in that pullback there. And don't get it twisted. I'll say it like this, yeah. The probabilities of you catching a trade for it to leave a zone are lower than the probabilities of you catching a trade to move back inside of a zone. So yeah, I don't expect this zone to hold, but I do expect it to give me some fruit, to give me some rejection that I can manage, and then, and then at this point, we just look at what the market wants to do next when we achieved our target to in that inside high in that zone. That usually it's an S&D responsible, or it's something that's not part of structure, right? Fuck it, it could even be an imbalance that's there. Whatever is there, it gives us more than enough to manage, and let's keep it basic, close 1-to-1, right? But that's higher time frame shit though. When we see where price is right now, ooh. Let me invert this. I have to see where this zone is, but this is what I'm talking about. You don't choose which zones that you want. This is what I be talking about. Like, for people that are so fixated on zones, like, I get it. Yes, you have to use an unmitigated zone, but it's not something you should be stressing for. Like, I believe it's just that you guys really have like, your expectations of what a zone should do for you is very, very unrealistic. And it's only unrealistic because you haven't experienced using zones. And I didn't even get here. I wasn't even using zones to be profitable. Let me just tell you that. Should I tell you how I found out about this shit that I'm showing you guys? And then it was like, oh, this is why I've never resonated with zones until now. Because the way I'm profitable is just using structure. It's just me counting, quite literally. The same thing that I showed you guys is just counting, right? Seeing that fourth, seeing this, so basically seeing that counter trend reversal liquidated, and seeing that, in this case, demand responsible liquidated, getting in at the supply and just moving down with a 1-to-1. That is what made me profitable. But you see, that requires a level of patience, and throughout that patience is how I was able to see, hold on, I'm noticing a pattern here with, I don't really give a fuck about zones, but I'm noticing a pattern here. And now, do you know when? I was like, oh, okay, okay. Remember that time when Dave's course got leaked? Okay. And had the premium shit inside. And okay. Then I was like, okay, okay, makes sense. Because I was in his mentorship and he did mention the same thing. But you know how it goes, right? Like when you like it goes one ear and out the next. It's not as if he gate kept this shit. No. I just didn't know how much he prioritized this shit. And I was like, oh, boy, that shit just made fucking sense. That shit just made fucking sense. But it took. This is still my setup, by the way. Of course, this is my bread and butter. In the event that we don't have anything to the left that we can say that we want to move back into. That's why I still like to say that, bro, you don't need zones to be profitable. You need structure to be profitable. That's the whole point of this video. You need structure to be profitable, bro. I wanted to explain the whole concept of liquidating that counter trend reversal, but there hasn't been any case of it yet. So it's not that I can't really just bring it out of thin air, except in a diagram like I did right here. But employing that rule of waiting for four, that if you backtest this, you'll see it, waiting for four swings to be liquidated, waiting for four pullbacks to be liquidated, seeing that counter trend reversal take place and still not engaging with it. Why? Because when you liquidate that counter trend reversal, it creates a new swing. But not only does it create a new swing, you'll also see that usually by the time it liquidates that, you can engage. There's an impulsive rejection here. An impulsive rejection that you can capitalize from. And that's my bread and butter. But that premium scrumptious setup, oh boy. So it's not even a thing where what I just explained to you, liquidating a counter trend reversal is your bread and butter, but now it's just a prerequisite for an even better setup. That's how it is in my trading. My confidence was built into that. But this is almost unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me check the US 30 though. Because I didn't come here to just, oh look, these are some high time frame areas. I think it's still inverted though, yeah. This is me looking out for it on the high time frame. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. I always start with what, bro? Just previous day, previous candle. I'm always checking that perspective, and I see what's inside there. I move on to the lower time frames. I just always want to see the current narrative. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. These stocks kind of have the same price action. We get that pullback, we liquidate that pullback, creating a valid low that puts in a new high. So on the higher time frame, I'm looking for this shit to be swept. Why? Because I see within this. Oh shit. Let me see. I could be really inaccurate right now. Hold on. Right, I see multiple rejections from this last down candle. On a lower time frame, this is a previous range in itself. This is a valid low that put in another high. So what we're tapping into is the origin of the move multiple times. And I know if I want, a nice, easy setup, and I can trust this because the way I've been trading has just been focused on the right side. Quite literally. I'm not looking to nothing to the left. But it's when I started investigating to, what could have been the cause of this, Because I start hearing Dave talking about, yeah, you need to start using zones to the left and shit like that. Whereas, just in my development as a trader, just learning the shit from him, right? And it's like, yeah,
You telling me, fam?
that's too much information for me. All I know is structure. And the structure I know is just the liquidating those four swings and liquidating that counter trend reversal. And I know I'm ready to go. Why? Because once I see the S&D responsible liquidated after those two prerequisites right there, that lets me know that, okay, cool, the trend has been broken and we're looking to get in an impulsive move. But hey, I stopped being stubborn and I was like, yeah, cool, let me just, further back test. And I'm just like, oh wait, these moves are having me land in these areas here after something has happened. And a zone that I would have never considered. I would have been considering, that's why I was like, yeah, fuck zones, because my mind was directed to the wrong ones. It was focused on zones holding. And I was like, yeah, well, fuck that, bro. I kept seeing, right, when I've just been trading structure, I just kept seeing zones liquidated more times than not. And I'm like, man, fuck that. I can't put my trust in this. Maybe Dave sees it in a way that I don't, but for now, I can't put my money on this. I can only put my money on something that works for me, and that's structure. I think I made a diagram for myself ages ago. When was this? This was December 31st, 2024. See the liquidation of 3 pullbacks. Now it's 4, right? As you guys can see. Boom, 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 boom. And you guys can see this purple box. Just something I was noticing that, wait, when we reject it, it usually puts me in a place like, and I try to make sense of it in my mind, and I can't say, this is just me trying to make sense of things in my mind. I had other things like, yeah, these are just other markings, but it's just to show you that this purple box, when I'm explaining multiple rejections from a zone, and how my focus of structure, which will see the liquidation of 3 pullbacks, which is now 4, and manipulate the first counter trend reversal, when you just focus on that on the right side, you usually end up in that trade that usually what happens to the left is we've mitigated an area multiple times and we've mitigated an unmitigated area. So we see that, oh wow, we're trending on the 15. Not much to say in a trend. What do we do in a trend? Shit, we sit the fuck out. Because I always lose in a trend. I don't know about you. I always lose in a trend. So I make sure that whenever I'm engaging in any market condition, I'm waiting for the liquidation of that previous candle. Why? Because it initiates a range. Whoops. The previous up candle, you guys see that here? That may not have even been a close, but you gotta be precise with this shit. Was that a close? Nope. It wasn't a close. So are we ranging? I don't know. Let me double check that more. Double check. Yeah, no closure. So we're still in a trending environment, sorry, right? I'll correct myself. We're still in a trending environment. I have to wait for that previous up candle. I need to wait for a closure below it before I can even say, okay, cool, let me now track my swings to the downside, right? What you notice is that the patience that I had to train myself, quite literally, I had to train myself to be patient, bro. I ain't a patient guy. But for trading, I had to train myself, right? when you see zones like this, and then there's always for some reason, I don't know, but there's always something unmitigated behind it. For some reason, and it's just like it's just right for the taking. It just requires a little patience. Why? Because when you're cognizant of this, when you're aware of this, it's like you can only be aware of these areas when you're like, yeah, but I'm not choosing to engage in a trend. And you start to see what forms. Because trust me, if you're out here chasing price higher, then your perspective will be limited. But hey yo,
What you telling me?
What's up, G, sir?
I'm all good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's what I like to hear.
JJ, what you telling me, fam?
Oh, what's that I see?
Bro, let me ask if I'm dropping them off at schools. Okay?
Let me watch my man's chart. What I want you guys to understand too is, the concept of top and bottom of the range, bro. Seriously, like. And what range are we looking at? The previous range. This is a valid low because we closed against the pullback. So where is the top of the range? Above that high? Well, above the pullback. Yeah, I was about to say above that high, but it's above the pullback. That's the top of the range. So chasing longs is not what you're out here doing, bro.
Yeah, bro. Gotta drop these little niggas off at school. Holy shit.
You want to
Should I
wait
be
for
changing
lower
today or no?
prices, bro.
Huh?
Now, right now, I'm chasing. Ha! I said chasing. Right now, I'm just looking for myself.
Nah, you told me yourself. You chasing markets right now. You told on yourself. Yeah, I'm a dinner paper trade this week. I can't lie.
Why you say that?
I don't know. Just because, bro, I just need to evaluate myself a little bit more before
Okay.
going into my express account.
I see. I was
Like,
thinking
I
of
have, like,
taking a challenge this week, bro, but it's bank holiday, so I need to go on I need to put cash in my account on Tuesday and buy a challenge.
buy challenge, and it's FMOC on Wednesday, on Friday, and we got CPI next
Oh,
week.
you're right.
CPI
Oh, it's the first week of the trading month. Oh, you're right. Oh, true. I hear
This
it.
is gonna be fucking torchy. I might not even trade until freaking Monday or the 19th.
The
Holy, this shit is
19th?
ass. Bro, just look at the upcoming month. This shit is cheeks.
I don't
I'm not trying
usually
to blow
do
my
so,
shit.
I don't really usually look at
You know,
news, but right now I will. I'm just gonna check it out. Forex Factory.
JJ,
I look at the news a
what you
little bit,
telling
but
me,
we have
fam?
so many shit coming in. We have CPI and PPI not back to back days.
So
Tuesday, Thursday. I mean, I might trade
FOMC on
Wednesday.
What you
Wednesday.
telling me, fam?
We got
Monday, Wednesday.
monetary unemployment claims Thursday. You'll be alright though. It's just a little bit more volatility, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be alright until my shit's fucking blown and I'm saying, hey guys, I blow my shit. Hey, shout out to Sam saying I was gonna be alright. Oh, look at this week looking like. I'm gonna check my crypto real quick.
Yeah, I hear you though.
Like,
One thing I've always noticed that is at the beginning of every month, that news week, bro. Yeah, man, that's wild.
poetry, bro. It just feel like you only get traded 1 week for real. Oh my god.
Mm,
My boy JDR bought an account today again. He
Nice.
bought on the wrong platform.
Huh?
He
How you
bought
doing
on the
that?
wrong one.
How do you do that?
Huh?
How do you do that?
Nah, just cause I think he clicked too fast.
Is it the case of like, is it Top Step again?
Yes, that's
Like different, like Top Step has like Tradeovate and like its own platform. Is it that kind of issue?
yeah.
I hear it.
Yeah. He put in support so he I said, but it might be a sign for you to, stay out the markets this week or stay out the markets today.
But how should that be a problem, bro? Like you're still buying and selling, bro. Just a different platform.
Yeah, but he's new he's freshly new.
I hear it. It shouldn't stop him though. Like it shouldn't be that deep.
Nah, but he gonna switch it though. They got back to him. I think they got back to him.
Oh, that's nice.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Never gonna drop below 90K. I think
That's
he should
good.
be back in. I just need that shit to just take all-time highs again. I'd be lovely.
Gold? Did I do a top down on gold? I mean, I did this morning. Let's see what go on though. Let's go on.
Holy moly, ES. Yeah. So I don't trade ES. Used to, but holy.
So when we check this out, I see the previous day.
Oh, that's the trade he took right there.
See
He
this
took it off
pullback.
this imbalance.
We closed
He took it
that.
off this.
Okay, so we got that pullback there. We see 1, 2.
I'm gonna start doing recaps. I might have like a recap area. Just so I can just.
What pair?
Huh?
On what pair?
JJ, what you telling me?
My son, 30 or even my trades, just post that bit in there. Just my thought process.
Oh, okay.
Just practice
Oh,
talking
like
about
that. Yeah, I feel that.
I might just put like, I might start doing that.
JJ, what you telling
So
me?
Because I gotta be able to practice my like talking my strategy. Because sometimes I'll be voting, I know it, but
I know what the fuck.
like,
you
they
mean,
say you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
bro.
know my shit, but it's like, holy fuck.
Communicating that shit is just a whole different level, bro. That's literally what I'm focused on right now. Literally, I'm live streaming right now still. Like that's how I came onto the market, like teaching all of my rules in a different way, like different markets. It helps you as well, bro. For real.
Does.
Yeah. Gold is just, if there's anything I'm looking for gold is, I'm just seeing, just sweep that at least, move into here, and move back into that range. If anything. Let's see how that turns out though. But you're right. You're right. You're right. Boom. So I'm paying attention to 308. highlight this. I like to do this. Just lets me know what the fuck I just been marking up.
Yo.
Oh,
Okay,
go on.
text me. Damn.
Oh shit.
Knocking like the feds. Holy shit.
So we ended up moving above.
We're
this
ready.
zone here, so it's looking pretty volatile for 500. You know? Oof. Though it was very short, you just can't miss, bro.
JJ, what you telling me, fam?
And
You
all
can't miss with
my
this shit.
beginner traders.
Yeah, what are you getting at?
Back into where?
You about to hit the gym or what?
After I eat my burrito.
JJ, what you telling me, fam?
So let's remove this. That's no longer relevant. Bow. Bow. And now,
What's up, my screen, though? But yeah, I'm gonna go
Okay.
jump on my server. If y'all get going. Damn, that shit
Alright.
is still pushing.
what's pushing?
Yeah, bro.
Holy shit, 1 to 4. Damn. W fucking see everything happens like this when I don't trade on my express account. Shit like this happens.
You got that. You got that.
That's a long ass dick pause to the upside. Holy Marcus got horny today.
About to touch Friday's high.
Well yeah, most definitely gonna touch Friday high. That shit is definitely let me see how many points it off.
What hours?
Yeah, you're gonna be tracking
40
that
points.
previous
Okay.
candle on a 5 minute and just
see
what go on.
that's the type where I would want to get in, like I'll get in down here and then just like after I hit 2. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I have 3 micros, take out 2 and just leave 1 running.
So
And
this
then
is
put my
like-
stop loss or put my new stop loss at my TP2. Yeah.
Well, we'll wait. We'll wait.
Wait a minute.
Because what's more important than what's to the left is like I always tell you guys that the left is cool, but it don't mean shit if
you recording Art and JDR. Art and Gotti.
we don't get
Gotti.
Right there. About to get ready.
Alright, man. Sadie.
He's out.
don't mean shit if we don't get that. Right? This has to occur first before I even look to what's to the left. So I'll say this stream has been pretty informative. Like I, for one, for myself, it was just a way for me to like articulate what the fuck I do every day, every trading day. You know what I'm talking about, bro. I believe
JJ,
I was calm, innit? So I'll leave it at that, bro. I hope you guys enjoy the stream and I'm just gonna continue trading.